It's me again, trying to elaborate on a shot that I made yesterday that I ended up deleting because I think I don't want to be misunderstood. There's more information that it's needed, and I'm here to tell you why. I strongly believe that unless a woman is married to a man, she is not off the market. She does not belong to him. And I understand that not everybody's gonna agree with me, and I'm not sharing this for people to agree with me. I'm just telling you my point of view, and not only me, but I had to try and remember this quote by Elisabeth Elliot that I read so many years ago. I had to find it, and so read it to you, and then we can start from there. It goes like, unless a man is prepared to ask a woman to be his wife, what right has he to claim her exclusive attention unless she has been asked to marry him? Why would a sensible woman promise any man her exclusive attention if, when the time has come for a commitment, he is not man enough to ask her to marry him? She should give him no reason to presume that she belongs to him. Well, check out Elisabeth Elliot's books. She has very good books on womanhood, and she was a woman of God, and she left a lot of good stuff behind before she passed away. But I believe that this culture of boyfriends and girlfriends was introduced, and it has been delaying a lot of us as women from becoming the women we were created to become. So it's kind of a platform whereby you men can put you into, and you can stay there for years, hoping and trusting and praying that one day this man is gonna come up and ask you to marry him. So just to put it into context, so if you've been with someone, you've been in a relationship for more than 2 years, and they have not married you, I think at that point, you probably are wasting each other's time, because it does not take that long to know that you want to spend your life with somebody. So what happens is that when you stay in a relationship that long, two things will happen. Either of these two things will happen. One, you'll get accustomed to each other and attached to each other, that now you feel and believe that this person is the right one for you. And then you're going to reason like, oh, they've been here so long, I've been with them so long, I think it only makes sense if I marry them. And then you marry them after 2 years or after 3 years or even 10 years for some women, because now that's when you're settling. You don't know it, but you are settling for someone that you have known for a long time, not because you know they're the ones, but it's because according to your judgment and the way you're thinking, it makes sense to do that. And then when you get married and it doesn't work out, like most marriages fail within the 5th year to the 7th year, before the 10th year, you're going to divorce. And most marriages that don't last, people get married so late after knowing each other. The marriages that people get married within 1 year or inside of 24 months, they last a long time because they married for the right reasons for the most part. It's because I know this person, I love their spirit, I love who they are, and I think I want them in my life. So sure, you get married for the right reasons. But when you get married because of running out of time, or because it's the right thing, you feel like it's the right thing to do after so many years, then you're marrying for the wrong reasons. And then we end up wondering why marriages are not lasting today. If you think about it, back in the day with our parents, they did not date for years before they got married. There was not this boyfriend-girlfriend thing. They got to know each other for a little while, a few months, and then they made commitments. And most of our parents are still together. But we have this, it's like a pandemic of divorce. Marriages are not lasting. There sure is something that we are doing wrong. So for my fellow ladies, if you have been with your man for over, let me give you 2 years. I feel like by the time you hit 2 years, it's time to head out or open your doors or whatever. But within 2 years, that man should know. And if they haven't asked you to marry them, for whatever reason the reasons are, it's not for you to sit there and wait for them to fix their problems. If they're not financially stable like they would like to be, they can do that on their own. You don't have to stay there and waste your time waiting for them to get it all together. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's kind of a risk that you don't want to take. But if you feel like it's a risk you want to take, then go ahead. But with time, over years, you probably will regret it, because women have to remember that if you want to get married and you don't have any kids, then your clock is ticking. It doesn't matter what anybody else tells you out there. The truth is, with women, we have an expiration date as to, our fertility. It can get to a point like over 35 these days. Seriously, it's so hard for you to get pregnant and have children. So if you're with a man for all these years, you are wasting your precious youthful years with someone who might probably never marry you. And what happens is that after you've invested all this time with someone hoping they'll marry you one day and they do not, your heart is going to grow bitter. And that's why you meet women who have this bad reputation of men, who have adopted these terminologies of all men are the same, all men cannot be trusted, all men cheat, and those kind of things. I can't trust any man, or I don't need no man. All that comes from trauma and baggage, from wounds that haven't been healed and that are hard to heal because you gave yourself to somebody who was not your husband, and you give them your everything. And that's why Elizabeth Elliot says, and I agree with her, that unless a man has married you or asked you to be his wife and is actively working towards that goal, like he's doing something that's tangible towards it, not just a fake promise, then he does not have a right to claim you. He does not have a right to say that you belong to him, because how do you belong to him? Like, look at it. I cannot go to Best Buy and get a TV that I want and bring it home and watch it without paying for it or having a plan to pay for it. It's not mine. Okay, better example. If you buy a piece of land, it's not yours until you finish paying all the money. You don't get the title. It's yours, but not really yours. You can lose it tomorrow if you don't make the necessary payments, or if your time has lapsed and you haven't made the payments. So we are human beings. We are fragile. We are like a piece of land, but we take ourselves off the market. Or you as a woman, you want to get married, but then you meet good men and they want to get to know you, and they want to, spend time with you and get to know what kind of a woman you are and see if you're suitable for them. And the same thing, you want to see if you're compatible with them. But you tell them, oh, I have a boyfriend. Oh, no, single. I'm taken. Why I'm laughing is because it is not true. Like, you are not taken unless you are married, unless you have a husband that you call your husband and he calls you his wife as well. If he calls you his girlfriend and you call him your boyfriend, you are not taken. And then what happens is that if those relationships that you give so much of your time and energy to don't work out in the long run, you remember all the men that you met along the way and you shut them out because of this one person who's been with you for years and has never, ever asked you to be his wife. And maybe, I don't believe in the one person who's supposed to be with you, who's your husband. I believe anyone could be the one if they're meeting your needs and your expectations of them, and they love you right, the way you deserve to be loved, and they're showing up right. They could be the one. And you probably have met so many men who could be that. But you had closed the door. You didn't give them a chance because you had a boyfriend. Like Elizabeth says, it doesn't make sense. It's not sensible. And most people won't agree to it. But again, you have to remember, just because you are allowed to talk to people and get to know people until the day someone claims you as their wife and marries you, doesn't mean you should sleep with people, like sleep around, like you sleep with this one and that one and that one. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Okay, just, you just have to have boundaries and do it right. So that's not what I mean when I say don't take yourself off the market. What I'm saying is get to know people. Don't shut people out. The only time you should say you're taken or you're off the market is if you are married. If your husband calls himself your husband. His life is invested in you. He would take a bullet for you. He would die for you. Like, you come first. I know some boyfriends can do that, but you have to remember, it's a boyfriend. This thing has an expiration date, and there's a reason why they haven't married you yet. Whether they tell you so or not, there is a reason why they haven't married you yet. And if they really knew you were the one for them, then they would marry you. Like, you are not a degree or a PhD course that someone gets to study for years. Anything after 2 years, you ain't a course in school or a program that someone has to study and get a graduation on. Like, you ain't that complicated. Just gotta know the basics of who you are, and if they like them, they commit to that. So anything above 2 years, girl, please don't say you're taken. Don't waste your precious years. You have a clock. It's clicking. It's what do you call it? It's ticking. It's the truth. And I know most people don't want to say that, but don't waste your time. Men have a lot of time, and men will waste your time if you don't take care of your time. If you don't have standards, if you don't have a timeline for things, don't just go with what they want to do, because if given a choice, men will take the easy way out. And getting married, for majority of this generation, men today, they don't want that. But that doesn't mean there's no man out there who wants that. There are men out there who want it. People are still getting married today. That tells you there are men out there who want to be married, to start families. So don't let anyone lie to you that it's hard to find a good man. Good men are there. The problem is that you ain't positioning yourself in a way that you can meet them, because you have decided to sell yourself to this person, and you're thinking, oh, this person is going to marry me one day. So even when a good guy comes by, you don't see them for who they are, because your eyes are locked up onto this person who's your boyfriend for over 2 years. Don't do that. Don't do that. There are good men out there. They would marry you in a heartbeat. I mean, if you've done the work. If you look like a wife to them, yes, they will. But don't waste your time with men who are dating you for years. If you can skip the girlfriend stage. It's a total waste of time. Don't do that. Women want to get there, and when they get there, they settle. So assuming you've been with someone for a year, and then they make you their girlfriend in the second year, guess what? Then they might want to take 2 more years for you to be the girlfriend, because it feels like it's the right thing to do. Before you need to have been with them for 4 years. You're probably 30. But you have to understand this, women, or my fellow ladies. If you go through a heartbreak, you need time to heal. You ain't gonna jump to the next thing and start rolling with it. You'll need time to heal. So when you look at it, you seriously don't have time. Because again, if you don't take time to heal and you feel like you're running out of time, you're gonna leave this relationship and jump to the next. And it's gonna end as well, because you're not healed yet. You ain't ready yet. You haven't taken time to reflect and see the mistakes that you did in your previous relationships. So how is it gonna work? It's really not gonna work. So just understand that you are not taken, you are not off the market, you don't belong to any man who does not claim you as his husband, no, his wife. As his wife. And it's the truth. And I will read that quote for you again, and I'm gonna put it up here for you guys to see it. This woman was so wise, and she wrote, unless a man is prepared to ask a woman to be his wife, what right has he to claim her exclusive attention unless she has been asked to marry him? Why would a sensible woman promise any man her exclusive attention if, when the time has come for a commitment, he is not man enough to ask her to marry him? She should give him no reason to presume that she belongs to him. If the time for him to ask you to be his wife has come and he hasn't, then you have no reason to give him a reason to presume you belong to him. And to me, and to what I've had from whatever I've learned this from, I don't know, it's 2 years within 24 months. That time has come. Anything after 1 year to 2 years, if you're gonna get married, a time has come. If at that time they haven't done it, you ain't off the market. Don't do that to yourself, girl. Don't do that to yourself. Don't give your everything to someone who's not your husband. And that's the reason why we cannot have everything we want. We have to buy things. I cannot drive Let me give an example of Tesla, unless I can afford to buy a Tesla. And it's a car. It depreciates. It doesn't give me nothing. It's gonna take me to the same place my Toyota is gonna take me. So, and you are a human being, you're a good woman, you're valuable, you have worth. You can be such a blessing to a man if only they could give you what you deserve. You are of so much value than a car, than a diamond, than a piece of land, or than a piece of property, because you have so much to offer. So don't put yourself on a sales rack when you're supposed not to be there. You know, you don't have to beg nobody. You don't have to give someone time. You don't have it. Just believe me, you don't have that time. Or you have the time to work on yourself. You have time to wait for the man that God has for you, who's going to see you for who you are and see what value you bring to their lives and decide, I don't want to lose this one, so I'm going to lock it down. You have time for that, but you don't have time to wait for one human being to make up their mind about you. You don't have it. It's just the truth as it is, and I hope that this lands well in your ears. I don't want that shot to be misunderstood, so I thought probably I should do a video and give you the nitty-gritties of it. And I know I'm not always here. I try to share messages when I feel inspired to do so, because I don't want to take it as a responsibility. I want to do it as, purpose. And if you have any questions, you can ask me, comment, or whatever. But I hope this video blesses your heart, and I hope that you find strength to walk away from things that are not right for you and leave the door open and give yourself a chance to receive the things that are made to be in your life. Blessings on your walk.